Amber Heard appeared close to tears several times as her team's first witness testified. Heard's first witness was Dr. Dot Hughes, a New York-based clinical and forensic psychologist who is an expert about domestic violence. Dr. Hughes said that women in abusive relationships get into them for the right reasons but slowly their partner turns. Dr. Hughes outlined horrifying instances where she claims Heard told her about sexual violence committed on her by Depp. Dr. Hughes said that when Depp was drunk or high he threw her, Heard, on the bed, ripped off her nightgown and tried to have sex with her. She said, he forced her to give him oral sex when he was angry. These weren't loving moments, these were dominant moments. On another occasion when Depp accused a woman of hitting on Heard he performed a cavity search, Dr. Hughes said. She said that he was looking for drugs, adding that Depp thought it was acceptable to rip off her nightgown and stick his fingers up her vagina looking for cocaine. Another time Depp put his fingers in Heard's vagina and moved her around violently while they were in the closet. The incident in Australia, where Depp's fingertip was severed during an argument with Heard, was one of the most severe. Dr. Hughes said, when he was beating her and choking her, saying I hate you I will f***ing kill you, Miss Heard was dissociating and going outside of her body. The only thing she's thinking is, oh God I hope it's not the broken one. Dr. Hughes said that during alcohol-fueled incidents where Depp threw Heard on a bed and tried to have sex with her, it didn't always work out. She said, if he was not able to perform he would get more angry at her and blame her. As Dr. Hughes said this Heard appeared to struggle to contain her emotions. Dr. Hughes said that the physical violence suffered by Heard including Depp pushing her, shoving her, choking her and kicking her in the back. She suffered mostly bruising, cuts and vaginal pain from some of the sexual assaults. Heard said she lost consciousness twice after fights with Depp, in Australia in December 2015. Dr. Hughes said that among the examples of coercive control done by Depp was him telling her he didn't want her to show nudity or to show her breasts while filming. Depp didn't want Heard to act with certain people because of his obsessive jealousy. He regarded Heard's ambition as something negative and he persistently put her down, telling her she didn't need to show her tits and a. Dr. Hughes claimed that Depp would call almost every actor Heard worked with and the director to tell them, I got eyes down there, I got eyes on set. Dr. Hughes said, he tried to control what she wore. He told her often no woman of mine is going to dress like a whe. Depp once said to Heard when she was going for an audition, you are going to go out with those tits and ass? Instead Heard had to put on mom jeans so she didn't look revealing. Heard suffered a barrage of accusations of infidelity including allegations from Depp. All of this had a drastic effect on Heard and she lost roles because it was hard for her to audition. Dr. Hughes said that while on a private plane ride from Boston to Los Angeles in 0214, Depp flew into a rage because Heard was filming with James Franco at the time. She said, Heard, gets on the plane, Depp starts talking about James Franco, making a lot of derogatory comments, hope you had fun with your escapades. There was an argument when she got up to leave, he kicked her in the back and she went forward. Dr. Hughes said it was like sucking the oxygen out of a room and before you know it you're suffocating. Dr. Hughes said that many victims feel shame for the abuse which has a compounding effect on them. She said it was like a vicious cycle of trying to figure out how can I be with this man who hurts me and yet I love him so much. Heard appeared to choke up as Dr. Hughes explained why women stay in violent relationships. She said, for the loving man, stay for the man who is kind, the man she had hoped and promised for their future. Some people stay because they have economic reasons. Some people have children in common and don't want to deprive their children of a father. The most dangerous time for a woman is when she's leaving. Her likelihood of being killed increases substantially. Staying keeps her safe. Heard's lawyer Elaine Bredehoft asked Dr. Hughes whether digital penetration of the vagina counted as abuse. Such conduct has not been raised in the trial. Dr. Hughes said yes if it was non-consensual. Bredehoft asked if the same applied to penetration by inanimate objects. That has also not been raised at the trial, but Heard's lawyers claimed in their opening that Depp sexually assaulted her with a bottle. Heard looked on, stony-faced as Dr. Hughes said if there was no consent, it was abuse. Depp's lawyers have accused Heard of screaming at him during their rows, but Dr. Hughes said that was a normal reaction to being victimized. She said, "For women who feel they need to preserve their sense of autonomy, they will yell and fight back. Women could absolutely use violence in an abusive relationship, but it was mostly for self-defense or to fight back." Dr. Hughes told the court she conducted a forensic evaluation of Heard involving examining documents in the case and testing and interviewing Heard herself for 22 hours in person and twice on Zoom. In addition, Dr. Hughes spoke with Heard's doctors and her late mother. Dr. Hughes said that her conclusion was that Heard's account was consistent about what we know about intimate partner violence. In Heard's case, her abuse was marked by physical violence, psychological aggression, sexual violence, coercive control and surveillance behaviors, Dr. Hughes told the jury. Dr. Hughes said that Heard demonstrated very clearly traumatic effects from 3 statements made by Depp's lawyers, which appeared to refer to claims by the Depp legal team that the case is a hoax. Dr. Hughes said that she diagnosed Heard with PTSD and the cause was intimate partner violence by Mr. Depp. This came after Heard's lawyers made a last-ditch effort to have the case dismissed, only for the judge to deny their request. Before starting their case, Amber Heard's lawyers asked Judge Penny Azcarate to dismiss the case, saying Johnny Depp had not proven his claims. Judge Azcarate denied the request regarding 2 statements in the Washington Post op-ed because there was a scintilla of evidence a jury may find that they were defamatory. The judge held off ruling on a 3rd statement in the op-ed because the relevant evidence had not been brought in yet. The request sparked angry exchanges in court, with both sides strongly making their arguments. Heard's lawyer Benjamin Rottenborn said that if the court agrees that Depp abused her even one time, she wins. It's that simple. Rottenborn said that the evidence Depp abused Heard physically and verbally was overwhelming and undisputed. As Rottenborn argued, the defamation claim should be stricken because Depp failed to establish falsity of statement during his case in chief. In a fiery response, Depp's lawyer Benjamin Chu said that Depp had come forward with multiple credible witnesses, documents and authentic tape recordings of Miss Heard herself. The evidence satisfied all requisite elements and even went the extra mile of showing Miss Heard physically abused him. Raising his voice, Chu said, "She's the abuser in this courtroom." Heard's lawyer Rottenborn argued that if the case does move ahead, the headline of the op-ed should be stricken as Heard did not write it. The headline on the online version reads, "I spoke up against sexual violence, and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." Rottenborn also claimed that Depp had failed to prove that Heard acted with actual malice in writing the article, the test required for a defamation case. Rottenborn told the court it was a gatekeeper of the First Amendment and should dismiss the case. Depp's lawyer Chu said that the most convincing and most disgusting evidence was from emails sent by the ACLU to the Washington Post pitching the idea of the piece. In the email, one ACLU executive told a Washington Post editor that it was written by Heard, who, as you may recall, was beaten up during her brief marriage to Johnny Depp. Chu claimed that the ACLU helped her, Heard, to lie about it afterwards and called the civil rights group a co-conspirator with Miss Heard that played a frankly reprehensible role in the case. The lawyer claimed that Heard told the ACLU to put it back in, make it more spicy, referring to an allusion to Depp. Without that, the piece would have ended up in Teen Vogue, as no one was interested in what she had to say unless she was defaming Mr. Depp, Chu said. Chu tore into Heard for failing to pay her $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, with half going to each. Chu said that it was one thing for her to stiff the ACLU, but it was another to fail to pay the hospital with sick and dying children. According to Chu, everybody and his grandmother knew that Heard was referring to her restraining order against Depp with the op-ed. He called it just a scam to get $7 million from the divorce settlement that she pocketed instead of giving it to charity as she pledged. Chu said, witness after witness has testified that Miss Heard, far from being a figure representing domestic violence, is in fact a recidivist perpetrator of domestic violence on Mr. Depp and others. In response, Rottenborn said that Chu wrote the speech for an audience outside the courtroom. Speaking of Heard, he said, "She's not the abuser. She and her witnesses will put on even more evidence she suffered at the hands of Mr. Depp.